and large rigor of a college workload, right? So that's kind of why they look at AP so favorably, right? For many high schools, APs and as well as IB, high level IB classes, right, are kind of the highest rigor courses you can take in high school, right? So you taking them in high school really shows that you're prepared for college level work, right? And they take that very seriously. For many colleges, and even if you look at top 20, T20 colleges, in terms of rankings, for them, making sure that your course load is the most rigorous is kind of a baseline foundation. Like you're kind of required to have a super strong course load with a good list of APs if you want to be in a proper running, right? It's kind of like what puts your name in the hat for the college admissions. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which I think people often forget about, is APs are a really good method to transfer some awesome college credit. The reason why I was able to kind of fast track my time at Georgia Tech was because I used those APs in high school to kind of eliminate much of the general education requirements that Georgia Tech had, right? For example, I didn't take the beginner biology classes. I skipped the first level of calculus because I took BC, right? AP Calculus BC. I skipped even, I believe I skipped the first intro level of computer science too, right? So I was able to eliminate a lot of those general education requirements, which allowed me to get to my core coursework quicker, which was awesome. And that in turn allowed me to kind of cut down my time in college, right? Cutting down your time in college is actually it's a really good thing because it allows you to save time, right? And time is important, valuable, but also save money, right? Each semester you put towards college is uh, money that you need to spend, right? Of course, more time in college is not necessarily a bad thing, right? People do additional masters, people do PhDs and all that, right? Totally not a bad thing, right? But if it's possible, it's always good to fast track. Right? So that was kind of the boring academic stuff, right? Well, I don't consider academics boring, but I know some students do. Outside of school, I was a really passionate and determined person, particularly in blockchain and cryptocurrency. I loved exploring kind of the cutting edge technology. That's actually this kind of research is what really enlightened me to the field of computer science. That's what kind of drew me into it. Um, I had a teacher in my capstone class, which I'll explain more about, and that's kind of how I picked up on this blockchain. My dad, my parents were very computer science forward, so I kind of picked up that knowledge and like picked up the passion, which allowed me to push kind of hard in the research. So I did a lot of really fun research in cryptocurrency and blockchain. I even I was not only wanted to learn, I also wanted to relay my knowledge too. So I even went to libraries and things like that and spoke about the nuances of blockchain technologies to a lot of people, learned a lot and taught a lot as well. Even was so crazy about crypto back in the day that I bought a Bitcoin ATM from Russia with a friend, in a garage, spray painted it orange and try to sell it to malls around my area. And in hindsight, it didn't feel like a chore. It felt like really fun work I was doing. But when I came to college admissions, it actually was a pretty large crowning part of my profile. I think it really helped demonstrate a lot of my expertise in emerging technologies and my love for that, especially, if you want to go into the computer science field, you need to be aware and be interested in emerging technologies. I think it also portrayed my problem solving and analytical skills. Research is a complex game. It involves a lot of failure. It involves a lot of innovation and disruptive thinking. And just trying out that research in high school, I think is really important. And admissions officers really love that. And not only that, I think even more importantly, as a person, it really helps develop that habit of breaking things, which I'll talk more about. But focusing on college admissions here, this research was, I think, pivotal for my applications. In fact, I remember getting an acceptance and the admissions officer wrote a letter which basically said that, oh, we'd love to have you. We really enjoyed your research in blockchain and we hope you do it more at this university. Which I think really showed me, and I think hope shows you that, like, this is not from a bragging perspective. This is more so trying to relay the fact that having that research, having that passion and knack for research in your application can really help your application shine, right, and get you that acceptance. I also loved computer science, not just for the the gratification of learning, but also the impact that could have on the community, right? I conducted multiple hackathons for some underprivileged communities in Philadelphia, tried to teach them more about, the basics of computer science that I loved so much and hope to relay that love for them as well. And I think that, the hackathons I did and trying my best to push for community impact really helped showcase my leadership and initiative. It helped strengthen, and that in turn helped strengthen my college applications because it not only showed that I tried to build my technical expertise, but also I tried to meld that together with community impact and introduce some leadership in there, and show myself as more well-rounded than just technically, right? That I was also tried to excel in the communication angle, try to excel in the social community angle as well. It just helped, I think, round out my profile. And I think for me as a person, help round out my experience in computer science, right? Computer science at the end of the day is about value, right? What value you can add to society, what you can automate, add more efficiency to, improve, right? And if you keep that in mind through community impact, I think it's quite helpful. And in the college admissions game, it's also quite favorable. Cool. So I talk a lot about my experience, in academics, but also outside of school. And what it boils down to in terms of building a strong college profile is your focus should not just be on grades. I think coming up my first, couple of years of high school, I was a grades dude. I wanted to push myself, try to get the best grades possible. I did nothing outside of school other than reading my textbooks, sitting, studying. But the college admissions game is much more than that. Of course, you have to have good grades, but showing yourself as a leader, as a passionate person, as someone with unique talents, really gets you far. In fact, that's like your piece de resistance. That's like the stellar part, what makes your application stellar. So I'd urge students and parents like try to focus more than just grades. In terms of the college admissions game, it's really, really good and quite helpful. But also in terms of personal growth, if you put your focus on things you're passionate about outside of school, you'll grow as a person, right? You'll build a success mindset. Key areas for college applicants, right? The transcript, right, is kind of done for you. Your scores are done for you as well. Like there's nothing you can really change other than, of course, doing your best in those areas. But where you can show yourself in a personal angle is really through your essays, your supplementals, your extracurricular activities, your passion projects, which you might talk about in those essays. So those are, I think, the areas students should focus a lot on, right? Is building themselves as a person and kind of showing themselves in a genuine sense through those written mediums, right? Your extracurriculars you can list out exactly kind of what you worked on and what impact you had. Your essays can really show yourself as a determined, ambitious person. Very key areas for college applications. Your essays are really the window that the college admissions officers get to see into you, right? They're like that's like the number one way they get to check out and see who you are as a person. In terms of making your profile stand out, I think two very important things. Being authentic, being a genuine person, I think helps a lot. I've seen students, and this is, they're trying to play the game, but I don't think it's the best tactic. But I've seen students trying to pad their application with things that they might not have worked on a lot or they might not be super passionate about, but it looks favorable, right? But I'd wager that a student who's passionate and does a few things very, very well shows themselves in a better light through college because no matter how much you put it, right? How, what you write it, what revisions you do, your essay is a reflection of who you are, right? And if you do your activities in a genuine fashion, if you're authentic throughout your whole high school experience and you do what interests you, that'll show really well in your essays, right? That'll show really well in your extracurriculars. And that's what makes your profile stand out. They want a genuine, honest kid, right? So being authentic. Second is having a clear vision for your future. I'm not saying you can't change your major, right? Or change your trajectory in life later on, right? But having something you're passionate about, having something you're determined and ambitious to do, and showing that in your college application is quite important because they want a student who, when they come in to the university, can make an impact. And oftentimes, the people who make an impact have kind of an uncanny determination to them, right? That they want to push themselves and raise value and improve, some area. It could be computer science, could be if they're really interested in contemporary art, right? It can be whatever, right? But having that clear vision of what you want to do and making that clear within your college application, I think is really, really important. It's a core. So in terms of academics, in terms of extracurriculars, what makes success in these areas, right? I think the first is fundamentals. It's really important, I think, to build a strong technical foundation. By technical, I don't just mean computers and math or whatever. I mean knowing the intricate details of the subject you want to pursue. That could be through research, that could be through extracurriculars, but building the foundation is not only helpful in a college application, but also within college too, and outside of college. Because if you start with your fundamentals early, things become easier later on. For example, I was super into writing code in Java through my AP classes. So I was quite proficient in Java, quite proficient in Python coming into college, and that really helped me with my initial classes. Like I was able to do them much easier than if I came to it with nothing. So building that foundation is early really helps. In fact, as a little side note, my time as a TA in that AI class, I got to meet a variety of awesome students, right? But I think they kind of fell into two buckets. The first was a student who came to the class maybe with a computer science degree in their bachelor's or had experience in computer science through a job. So they knew their basics of computer science, right? So all AI was building knowledge on top of those basics, right? And the second student was a student who came to the class maybe with very minimal experience in coding. I felt that the second student, the latter, really had to struggle a lot more to succeed in the class because they not only had to learn that AI, the technical specialty of AI, but they also had to build that foundation along the way. And that's really rough because the foundation takes time. It's much better to start building that foundation earlier as a student. The second is passion, right? I think this is really, really important to success. In fact, that's why I put it right smack in the middle of the slide. No one found their passion for art without touching a canvas. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of figuring out what you like to do is trial and error. Right? You won't figure out that you like to draw without actually drawing first. Right? And the same is true for pretty much any profession. So as a high schooler, where the stakes are somewhat low, right? You have nothing holding you down, right? Try out things, see what you like, see what you don't like, and that'll help guide your future, right? And help build your passion. As I spoke about with my blockchain research, right? That's trying that out really helped me discover that I love computer science. I loved working with computers and and doing my best in building value with them. So take that chance, go try something new and see what you like, what you don't like, and that'll kind of pave your extracurricular activities. Third, innovation. Get into the habit of breaking things. What do I mean by that? I mean that research, I think, boils down to disruption, right? It's looking at what's out there, seeing what could be done better, and aiming for that better, quote, like a better goal, right? If you feel like, oh, the newest, latest machine learning algorithms, they don't do this, right? Well, research is all about figuring out how you can do that and make those algorithms better, right? Or in the case of history, how you can improve the accounting, dig up some stuff, figure out what's going on in this specific time period, and improve our understanding of history, right? But it's tough to get to that innovation, right? To build that that mindset of innovation without continually trying to break things. I think that's where high school research really comes into play because it allows students to start getting to the mindset of breaking things, start figuring out the fundamentals, building their passion, right? And then innovating on what's out there. It's a really awesome combo. Okay, so we talked a lot about college. We talked about what I consider and what Gifted Gabber considers to be the pillars for success. Let's talk about how to achieve that as a high schooler. I think it comes down to balancing your academics, which of course take a good amount of time, and balancing your personal growth. Now, we hear from a lot of parents, and it's awesome that they care for their students, but we hear from a lot of parents that say, oh, like my kids would love to continue doing research or exploring their extracurricular activities, but they're just too bogged down studying for this test, or they're too bogged down studying for the SAT, ACT, right? I'm definitely not saying there's not a time and place for that. In fact, I spent months preparing for the SAT, ACT, right? But high school is not just about academics. Right? In fact, I'd wager that the part of extracurriculars and essays and finding your passion is crucial to your college application, right? Whereas the academics are really important, but that part of personal growth and extracurriculars and passion is kind of what makes you stand out, right? So it's really important that you take the time to attend to that category, right? To spend your time building your passion, spend your time on those extracurricular activities, because that is what realistically also makes and breaks your college application. So there's multiple ways to kind of talk about this balance. It's managing your time effectively, I think, is quite important. And this is something I built up to as a high schooler. Taking a lot of the APs, of course, took a bunch of my time. But you're going to see that for a lot of high schoolers, ninth and 10th grade, they might take less classes that are less rigorous, but they actually spend more time on their homework than they did in 11th and 12th grade. The reason being is because high schoolers, they learn the efficiency of learning. By that, I mean how to be efficient with what you study for, what you do, the work you do, the things you prepare for, being efficient. And that efficiency leads to less time spent studying. Learning that efficiency early on, I think, is quite important. And that's all about managing your time effectively. In fact, like, I think there are a lot of scenarios where a high schooler can cut down 4 hours of studying into 2 or 3 hours. The way they do that is by eliminating distractions. It's by prioritizing and figuring out what works and what doesn't. What's your perfect study style? And experience, right? Of course, experience. So if you spend that time trying to be more efficient with your studying, focus and get the job done as quickly as you can, then you're going to feel less stressed because you're going to have more time on your hands, but also you can use some time also to build those personal growth activities. Okay. So kind of the moral of the story with the first one is be efficient with your studying. Second is making sure that you're focusing on well-rounded development. You should absolutely pursue those extracurriculars because oftentimes a lot of your learning comes from them. A lot of my time spent in the research of blockchain and cryptocurrency helped build my fundamentals about computer science, helped build my fundamentals about how you can conduct research and explore research. So they're important in their own right. So it's really important. I think it's vital to focus on that well-rounded development, which means that sometimes you might need to prioritize your extracurriculars over your studies, right? And of course, there are times where you need to prioritize your studies over your extracurriculars. Case in point, SAT, ACT. Right? If that's coming up, you need to kind of put some other things in the back burner and spend some time there. But it's kind of the balance that you need to learn. I think also building the resilience, making sure you can not only balance your academics with your personal growth, but also your well-being. In high school, I tried to do a lot, but I always made sure I spent time with friends. I always made sure on the weekends I hung out with my brother or watched a movie with my parents. I wasn't the type of kid who hold themselves, for the most part, in their room. And the way I did that was, again, of course, by being efficient, but also realizing to myself that the time I spent away from doing that crazy academics or doing that extracurriculars was time for me to recharge. I see a lot of parents being like, no, son, you're not going out, or daughter, you're not going out this weekend. You have to study for the SAT. Sure, maybe the weekend before you might need to do that, but I'd argue that the time you spend outside and the time you spend relaxing and doing stuff outside of just academics and doing stuff outside of extracurriculars, just having good fun, is your recharge time because we're all human, right? So over the weekends, I did sleepovers with my friends. When I had a car, I used to go drive around everywhere, pick them up, go eat dinner. I used to go to the movie theater with my brother. I made sure I had that time there because that was my recharge time. That was my time away from the studies. That was my time away from the career stuff. So it's a balance. It's a balance for sure, right? But don't forget that. Don't forget that part of well-being. Don't forget your extracurriculars. Make sure that you spend your time doing them, of course. Don't forget your academics. Make sure your grades are on point, but also don't forget the well-being. Okay. As a parent, make sure that the student is also not only just prioritizing studies, but also give them the time and give them the flexibility to also explore their extracurriculars, to also make sure that they spend that time away from the computer, going to the nearest restaurant and hanging out with their friends or going to a birthday party. That's important. Very, very important. Awesome. So we talked about all this stuff about college, about what makes a good success mindset, about how to balance everything in high school. What do we do at Gifted Gabber? Well, my mom, Coach Joe, and I, the awesome team at Gifted Gabber, I think they're fantastic. We spend a lot of time understanding high school needs, understanding parent needs, and figuring out programs to really assuage and conquer those needs and make needs into strengths. The way we do that is through these awesome, really capable and kind of innovative programs. The first is a profile building college counseling program, which I wanted to talk about first. This is a program dedicated to making a normal college application, a normal college profile into a stellar college profile. And the way we do that, this is not focused on essays or supplementals. It's focused on personalized plans for your extracurriculars, for volunteering opportunities, for your academics, figuring out the best course load, and also community for building the best profiles, of course, but also understanding with your students or with your parents which direction you can take your kids in terms of passion. So this is an awesome program. We have 22 live sessions. In fact, this is the group counseling one. There's also a one-on-one one, which I'll speak about as well. But this is a group counseling program, which it covers 22 live sessions with some awesome counseling experts, as well as a one-on-one session with a counseling expert as well. We give you a personalized plan presentation, some really awesome EC and volunteering opportunities, good groups, and learning management portal, which is really well catered. And the way you kind of get to this is, let me open this up, go to giftedgabber.com, click on this courses link, right? And if you scroll down here, which we'll talk about these just in a second, if you go to spring counseling program, you're going to see that there's a spring college counseling program here, which you can click through and figure out what's, the timings and the sessions and where Q&As are, click enroll, and you can purchase it here. We also have a tailored BSMD counseling. The reason we keep these separate is because a BSMD profile is quite a bit different from a normal college counseling profile. There's a lot of more intricate details that need to be covered, which is why we have this separate, right? This is a very tailored program as well. BSMD is a competitive but awesome program opportunity. So we help capitalize that through our own personalized separate counseling program for BSMD. This is our group counseling. We also have our one-on-one counseling as well, which are more tailored admissions counseling with exact one-on-one sessions, right? This is all one-on-one with our counseling experts. This is more expensive. So if you want to spend, and of course, private time is really awesome. So if you want to spend more money for more private sessions, feel free to come here. Again, these programs are really tailored to building that stellar college profile. So that's college. In terms of research, which is awesome for extracurriculars, we have some really good research programs. One is cancer research that's happening February 16th. You can also join the waitlist for a few of our other programs as well. We have a nanoscience program, which is awesome. These programs are one of a kind, mainly because we try to bring in the experts with these programs. In fact, we do. For example, this research professor is really awesome, knows their way around a lot of awesome cancer topics and can help your students not only learn about cancer, but also figure out ways to perhaps even innovate on cancer research as well. And this program is not only just about the research, it's also about writing, right? How you can write research papers. So we have 8 sessions with a research professor. And this also includes one-on-one sessions, right? In the basic package, that's 2 one-on-one sessions with the cancer research professor. For the premium package, that's 4. On the other end here, we also have 8 sessions with a creative writer, which talks you through how you can take that research that's maybe all up in your brain or all in some fuddled documents about writing down what you want to do and put that into a very cohesive, clear, and professional research paper, the type of research paper that can perhaps even go into journals, which we've helped with as well. So there's 8 sessions there with the creative writer. again, we have 2 one-on-one sessions included as well in the basic package. And then if you upgrade to the premium package, there's 4 one-on-one sessions. This is not a program that's just, theory. We focus a lot on application. So we ask students to come and present as well about the research. And there's even a thesis defense portion where they have to reinforce their research in front of the research professor, in front of the creative writer, and a panel. So this is some legit stuff. In fact, we also help students with the journal publishing portion too, how they can take that research and publish it into some awesome journals like Journal of Student Research. So this is some really good program offerings. You can join Cancer Research starting February 16th. We also have waitlists open. We just started our spring, our AI research program. But keep in tune. There might be more coming on the way, perhaps later on. We have nanoscience research, cancer research, a lot of really good research programs on top of our really good counseling programs as well. Cool. And this is all really making sure that we help high schoolers achieve the best. Right? We're literally want to be side by side with them in their success and push them as much as we can to their goals. That's Gifted Gabber for you. And I know I'm kind of seeing a lot of notifications about in the chat. So we'll spend the rest of the time kind of walking through your questions.
Okay, I'm going to read out a question. Yeah. So any questions, please put them in the chat. My son is taking physics in grade 12, but he wants to pursue medicine. Does this affect college admissions? He already took AP Bio, AP Chem.
So I think physics is an awesome class. In fact, for medicine, I think Coach Joe, my mom, mentioned it, that it's a very important subject. A lot of colleges, in fact, have the requirement for physics, right? Or have the requirement, I think, for 3 years or 4 years of science classes. Maybe not particularly physics, but having that well-rounded education across chemistry, biology, physics, I think is good. So continue taking that physics class. I think it's a good class to take. You want to follow up on that?
Yes. So for the medicine track, I do have a BSMD webinar tomorrow. I refer to it as a golden rectangle. So you need to have AP Biology, AP Chemistry, AP Calculus AB is good enough. BC is a bonus. AP Stats is a bonus. AP Physics 1 is actually really, really important for medicine. Okay. A lot of schools, unfortunately, they don't have a requirement of having to finish physics as a graduation requirement, which I feel is not a great thing. But every student should have physics in their profile, and be it medicine or STEM, physics is very, very important. It's problem solving. It's more left brain. Students typically do that after the junior year. We recommend students doing physics, AP Physics after the junior year, right? So it is very, very important. Okay. And if you are in grade 12, we have a comprehensive counseling. If your child is applying in the fall of 2025, let us know. We will help you with the college counseling as well. We have a very extensive program. You can share your number with us, and we can call you back. Okay. Yeah. Another question that was quite interesting is, are we able to find research opportunities by cold emailing?
Yeah, I can take a guess at that. It is quite a tough task to do, quite a Herculean task, in fact, to cold email companies and cold email professors. Mainly because you're a high school student, so you're coming to these professors maybe with not so much experience in the area, so they might look the other way. But also very few people read email, and a lot of these people who are in AI and all that are very busy, so they don't have the time to look at emails and respond to everyone. Um, so it's not a task I'd really recommend. I mean, you can try, but you're gonna see that there's you message a couple and it might take weeks before you get your first response. That's kind of why we developed this program to improve the access to research, right? We did the task of talking with professors and vetting them and making sure that they're the best, and our professors are the absolute best. And we've spent the time with them in building that program. So we're kind of taking the guesswork out of there, right? And making it a lot easier for you to get into research. There's been I tried it in high school. It didn't really work out too well. There hasn't been much success in the cold emailing route for getting research opportunities.
Okay, yeah, great. And I want to tell you that we had to hire a consulting company to find professors for us. And guess how many we got? We got like 100 resumes, and we were able to only close two because they don't want to work with high school students, even though we are paying them a lot of money. So you can imagine, I mean, which professor would want to work with you for free? They are not even going to open your email, right? We've had students cold email 300, 400 uh, professors. You can do that. I mean, we're not stopping you, but you're just going to be a hamster on the wheel, trying to constantly look for opportunities while you have to answer the question, what's in it for them, right? Why should they be spending that time to like kind of freely work with your child, right? So that's why we have a structured program, and there's nothing unethical about paying for research. We are not lying on the resume or anything. We do mention when asked that this is a paid program. I've given recommendations for students where I've been asked how much I charged, and it's full disclosure. And trust me, students who've done my research program have got exceptional acceptances and scholarships. You get it, right? So colleges know that it's not easy to get a research program, and they kind of appreciate the fact that you have enrolled and done something about it. So
Absolutely.
that's what it is. Okay. And also the question is, what makes it different from other research programs? Thank you for asking that question. And I'm going to answer that. Everything that we do in Gifted Gabber is outcome oriented and results oriented. So here, what we are promising you is a 4,000 word research paper. Got it? Which is deemed acceptable to be submitted for publishing. We will help you submit it for publishing, and I'm going to share a link, and you will be able to see over 200 students who've successfully published their research paper. So what does that mean? I'm just going to take a moment here to share with you. You can also go in our website, and you will see past research, and you can click on this and you will see that this paper has been published. So what does this mean? You will see that this paper was successfully published, and you can put this DOI link in your resume. Get it? So basically, these are the list of research papers that have been successfully published by my students. So I'm just going to share this. So a DOI link means this was accepted. It's in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, right? So, and students can put this DOI link in the resume, and the the admission officer will be able to open this link and see this paper extract, see the whole paper that has been written, and it's authenticated. So it's like a really big achievement if a student's research paper gets published. And typically it takes about 6 months, 4 to 6 months after submitting to get published. Okay, if you kind of try to publish it before that, then you will be raising red flags in your college application. So this is like a very ethical process that we follow, and we are giving you an outcome. So students work with two professors. One is the research expert in that field. Another is a creative writer who helps them write the research paper. Okay, great question. How many of your students got admitted to BSMD programs? A lot. On an average, my students get 1 to 4 BSMD college acceptance along with scholarships. It's not enough if you get into a BSMD program. They're anywhere from $70,000 to $85,000. And with our program, we try to get you as much scholarships as possible. It's all in the profile building, and we try to keep the budget between 35 to 55. So if you can share your email privately, I can send you a meeting invite. Our BSMD webinars run on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Okay, great questions. Any other questions, please put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and I'll give you an opportunity to ask any questions. Yeah.
Yeah. One question I see on here too is Do kids have to build LinkedIn profile as part of the college application? You also answered this, but I can take a stab. I totally agree that LinkedIn is a vehicle. It really helps not only in showcasing your abilities, but also in reaching out for more opportunities. People like to see your profile and perhaps message you about some more future opportunities. But it's important to have that expertise on there as well. Whether or not college admissions officers look at the LinkedIn profile is kind of unclear. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's just good to have it, and keep it there and post your achievements on there is what I'd say. Yep.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of college admissions officers, they don't have much time to look at everything, right? They definitely might look at some links you might post on your college application or additional information. But they might not have the time to search you up on LinkedIn and all that, right? Maybe, but I have seen, Coach, you might feel free to let me know if I'm off base here, but I have seen some college applications have a
Yeah.
LinkedIn profile link, right? That they ask you to
Yes.
provide as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, the question is not if the LinkedIn is looked at by admission officers, what is the profile going to say, right?
Hmm.
So that is what it is. You need to keep answering the question, what's in it for a college? Why should it give you, number one, admittance? Number two, why should they give you scholarship? What makes you appealing? What have you done? What is your outcome? What is the results that you've shown? What is your impact? Right?
Yeah.
So that is the question that you need to build, answer, and build your profile.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, that's like the crux of it. Like building a profile is nothing but building a resume, for say.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes
There's
sense.
another question that's asking, how long does it take to take a research paper? I'm a junior. So, James, I don't know which major you're trying to pursue, but if you're a junior, you do not have much time. It's now that you have to enroll. Okay. So, if you're going to enroll in cancer, it's going to start about next week. It takes about 2 or 3 months to finish that. And 6 months from that is when the publishing takes place. So, it'll be just in time when you're applying for colleges by November 1st, hoping that your paper will get published, but you can also be very honest and tell them that you've submitted your paper for publishing and your profile would look good. Okay.
Yep.
James, if you want to share your phone number and your email, we can invite you to go over our comprehensive counseling that we offer. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. One additional note I wanted to say about research paper and the research program is that we absolutely try our best to help our students, right? But ultimately, it's really up to the students to push themselves and make the research as well, right? We provide the best resources, but we need students to come to the table and try their hardest in this program. So in terms of publishing your research, it has to be, they won't accept any research, right? It has to be good research. So we work with the students, but the students should come to the table and spend the time in doing their best in the research, is what I'd say as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the research programs, the question is, what is the cost of the program? Just going to share with you all the details for the research program is available on our website. Just going to go over that. So you can just go in here and go to courses. You will see the different research programs. For our counseling program, you'll have to have a one-on-one session with us where we will have to create a customized proposal, which we will go over. As you can see here, we have the spring research. Neuroscience is closed. Our cancer research is open. You can go over here and see the details of our research program and everything. And this is the cancer expert from Wayne State University. This is our creative writer. Just about all the details are there on our website. If you're interested in our counseling, please share your email and phone number, and we will send you a link to schedule a call, a one-on-one call with us. Okay. Anybody who's a junior who wants to hear about our counseling program, you can privately share your number and we can call you back. And anyone who wants a call back from us or has specific questions about the program, please privately share your number. We have our whole team who would love to call and speak with you. Okay. Any other questions? We did have a freebie. It's not ready yet. Um, But yeah, we did create a whole course list that Ninad followed, which is a very good reference. Like what courses he took. I will share his transcript, but we did make it into um, a nice document, which I cannot find it. Um, Okay, so this is Ninad's transcript. As you can see here, this shows what are the courses that he took right from ninth grade. You want to explain, Ninad?
Yep. So ninth grade, I started with a few APs. My school, fortunately, we had a conversation, was able to take those. And I think as I progressed year over year, I started taking more APs and more rigorous classes. I started with AP Bio, ended up being quite rigorous, but um, I try to build the progression as I progress through the years. One thing to note is during my ninth and 10th grade, I took AP Seminar and AP Research, particularly particularly related here because AP Seminar and AP Research are part of the AP Capstone diploma within the College Board kind of for AP curriculum. This is a research-oriented uh, class. Of course, the research program is very tailored in this stuff, but I this class is also awesome. AP Capstone Diploma is awesome. But we always try to give you all the best opportunities. So if there's AP Capstone opportunity, feel free to take that. Yeah, and as I went over the years, I took more APs. I made sure that over each year as well, I had some language requirements. For example, I took Spanish my ninth, 10th, and 11th. I basically took science every year, a history every year, and English every year, because those are requirements a lot of colleges have when you apply. So that's one thing to note as well. Cool.
Yep. Okay. If you don't have any other questions, I'll let you guys go. Yeah, if you want to call back, please let us know. Our BSMD webinar is tomorrow, where we go extensively into how to build a profile for Med. Okay, so bye now.
Yep. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching and bearing with us and answering and